Japan, 1945. A man feels his time running out. His hands that once wielded the most lethal katana in all of Japan, now tremble with age. He knows he has only days left to leave behind something that would go on to change lives for centuries. You're about to discover what that legendary samurai wrote and why his final words might be exactly what you need to stop being held hostage by your own fears. But be warned, once you know this, there's no going back. Imagine living without fear, without anxiety, without needing the approval of others just to feel okay. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But in 1645, a legendary samurai named Miyamoto Musashi did something extraordinary. After a lifetime of battles, victories, and defeats, he distilled everything he'd learned into just 21 simple rules. These weren't written for other samurai, they were for himself. A final gift to the world before he left it. And here's the incredible part. Those same rules can solve 90% of the problems you face today. Why? Because human nature hasn't changed, only the scenery has. The anxiety you feel in certain situations, that's the same fear a samurai felt before stepping onto the battlefield. The social pressure you experience at work, that's the same tension that once filled the Japanese imperial court. But here's the difference: Musashi found a way through it. And today, you're going to discover how to apply this ancient philosophy to your modern life. We won't cover all 21 rules in this video, but we will dive into the essential ones, the ones that can completely shift how you see the world. Before we go any further, you need to understand who this man really was. But first, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, turn on the bell, so you never miss what's coming next. Now back to the story. Miyamoto Musashi was no ordinary samurai. At just 13 years old, he killed a man in a duel. By 30, he was invincible. Scholars may not agree on much, but many believe he fought and won over 60 duels. He never lost, not once. But here's where the story takes a turn. The more he won, the more he realized something profound. The real battle wasn't against other samurai. It was against himself, against his own fears, desires, attachments, and weaknesses. And that realization changed everything. True strength, he discovered, doesn't come from conquering others. It comes from conquering yourself. And that's the heart of Dokkodo, the way of walking alone. But don't mistake it for loneliness. It's not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about emotional independence. It's about not needing anyone else to feel whole. Just think about it. How many of your decisions have been shaped by what others might think? How many dreams have you quietly buried because you were afraid of judgment? How many times have you felt small because you didn't get the validation you were hoping for? Musashi understood something essential. As long as your happiness depends on things outside yourself, you'll never truly be free. And real freedom, that's what makes a person unshakable. So how did he arrive at this wisdom? And more importantly, how can you bring it into your life today? Don't worry, we're just getting started. Let's get straight to it. Of the 21 precepts of Dokkodo, 5 of them have the power to completely transform your life. And the very first one goes against almost everything modern society teaches us. Precept 1, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Now hold on. This doesn't mean you have to become a monk and renounce all joy. It means something far deeper. Don't be a slave to your desires. Think about it. Our world runs on instant gratification. Netflix, fast food, endless scrolling, online shopping, all engineered to give you a quick hit of dopamine. The problem? It creates dependency. When you chase pleasure for its own sake, you hand over the keys to your peace of mind. If things don't go your way, you suffer. If you can't get what you want, you feel frustrated and empty. Musashi saw this 400 years ago. He who controls his desires controls his life. He who is ruled by his desires controls nothing. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop chasing pleasure desperately, you actually become happier, because your peace no longer depends on what's happening around you. Precept 2, do not cling to things. This one cuts deep in today's world. We're raised to believe happiness means more money, more followers, more likes, more stuff. But Musashi discovered a hard truth. The tighter you hold on to something, the more fragile you become. Because everything you own can be lost. And when you lose something you've tied your identity to, you lose a part of yourself. This doesn't mean you should throw away all your possessions. It means having things without letting them have you. The difference is subtle but powerful. When you don't cling, you can lose everything and still remain yourself. When you cling, you crumble along with what you've lost. Precept 3, have no personal preferences in regard to yourself. This one can be tricky to grasp. What Musashi means is don't define yourself by your likes and dislikes. Why? Because preferences change. If you anchor your identity in them, you're in for an emotional roller coaster. Today you love something. Tomorrow it leaves you cold. Today you feel one way, tomorrow another. Unshakable people have an identity that runs deeper than passing tastes. They know who they are regardless of what they happen to enjoy or reject in the moment. And that's incredibly freeing, because you stop judging yourself based on fleeting feelings and start truly knowing yourself. But hang on, the next precepts, they'll challenge you even more. Now let's get to the rules that truly set extraordinary people apart. Brace yourself, because what's coming goes against almost everything you've been taught about relationships and success. Precept 4. Do not seek to be loved or lovable. That sounds harsh, doesn't it? Let me explain. Musashi isn't telling you to be unkind. He's telling you to stop twisting yourself into shapes just to be accepted. Stop people-pleasing. Stop hiding your truth just to avoid conflict. Stop saying yes when every part of you means no. How many times have you done that, pretended to agree, swallowed your words, kept your thoughts locked away because you were afraid of rejection? That's seeking to be loved, and it's a cage. Unshakable people don't need constant approval to feel good about themselves. They're authentic, even if it means not everyone will like them. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying so hard to be liked, you become more magnetic. Because authenticity is rare, and people are drawn to those brave enough to be real. Precept 5. Do not be guided by feelings of lust or love. As I note, this sounds extreme, but hear me out. Musashi isn't saying don't love. He's saying don't be ruled by love. Don't let those feelings hijack your judgment. How many people do you know who've made terrible decisions while in love? Who gave up their dreams for someone else? Who became a shadow of themselves just to hold on to a relationship? Musashi understood that true love isn't possession. It's mutual freedom. When you love someone without depending on them to feel whole, you offer them the best of who you are. When you love desperately, you offer your wounds. And modern research backs this up. A study from the University of Rochester found that people in relationships built on healthy interdependence, not emotional dependence, are 73% more likely to enjoy lasting, fulfilling connections. A neuroscientist with over 20 years of experience put it this way: when you don't need someone to feel complete, you can choose them for the right reasons. That creates a far stronger foundation for any relationship. But here's what no study can fully capture: the lightness that comes when you realize you don't need anything or anyone to be happy. It's like setting down a weight you've been carrying for years. And that brings us to the most powerful part of a Dokkodo: how to actually apply it in your real, messy, everyday life. Because theory without practice is just philosophy over coffee. Let's get practical. Here's how you can use these teachings to tackle real problems in the modern world. And fair warning, some of these methods will feel completely backward at first. As situation 1, social media anxiety. So you know that feeling? You post something and the likes don't come. Or you scroll through endless highlights of other people's lives and suddenly feel smaller. This is exactly what Musashi meant by seeking external validation. The Dokkodo solution: simple. Stop posting to impress. Only post when you genuinely have something to share. And when you do, resist the urge to check reactions every 5 minutes. Try this for 1 week. Before you post, ask yourself, am I sharing this for me or for them? If it's for them, don't post it. You'll be surprised how many of your posts are driven by a hunger for approval. And when you let that go, you step out of a prison you didn't even know you were in. Has situation 2, work pressure. Chai ever felt trapped by your boss's expectations? Stressed about how your work is being judged? If Musashi were alive today, he'd say, do your job with excellence, but don't cling to the outcome. Give your best, but don't make your self-worth depend on recognition. In practice, that means focusing on what you can control: your effort, your attitude, your integrity. The rest, that's not yours to carry. And when you stop stressing over what's outside your hands, you become far more effective at what truly matters. Situation 3. Toxic relationships. How many times have you stayed in relationships, romantic, family, friendships, that drained you just because you feared being alone? Dokkodo speaks clearly here. It's better to stand alone in your truth than to sit surrounded by people while pretending to be someone you're not. Loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of authentic connection. When you live by this, you stop tolerating disrespect. You stop shrinking yourself to keep the peace. And here's the magic: when you do that, you naturally attract people who value the real you. You trade quantity for quality. Say situation 4. Consumerism and materialism. Ever bought something hoping it would make you happy, only to feel empty a few days later? Ever felt pressure to own things just to impress others? Musashi lived with almost nothing for years, not because he had to, but because he chose to. He discovered that the less you need, the freer you are. That doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It means learning the difference between a need and a want. It means owning your possessions instead of being owned by them. Try this. Before buying anything non-essential, wait 48 hours. If you still want it and you can afford it without strain, go ahead. You'll be amazed at how many impulse buys vanish. But there's one more layer to Dokkodo. A layer most people overlook, something that might feel unsettling at first, yet holds the key to real transformation. Musashi wrote his 21 precepts knowing death was near. Many believe he had stomach cancer. He was looking into the void, and from that place of absolute clarity, he wrote only what truly mattered. Here's the uncomfortable truth: we're all going to die. You, me, everyone. Most of us live as if that's not real, so we waste time on things that don't matter. But when you truly accept your mortality, not morbidly, but honestly, everything shifts. You stop caring so much about what others think. You stop postponing your dreams. You stop living someone else's script. This is the final, most powerful lesson of Dokkodo. Live as if you could die tomorrow, but prepare as if you'll live forever. St. Augustine said something similar: take care of your soul as if you were going to die tomorrow, and your body as if you were going to live forever. So what does it really mean to be unshakable? It's not being emotionless. It's not being fearless. It's having such a solid foundation within yourself that life's storms can't knock you down. It's knowing you could lose everything and still be you. It's the difference between being a leaf blown about by every wind and being a mountain that stands firm no matter what. Musashi earned this wisdom through a lifetime of battles with others and with himself, and you can cultivate it too by living the principles of Dokkodo. It won't be easy, it won't be quick, but it is possible. So here's my final question for you. If you knew you had just 1 week to live, how would you spend today? What fears would you release? What masks would you remove? What truths would you finally speak? You don't have to wait for an answer or for permission. You can begin right now. Because in the end, a Dokkodo isn't about preparing to die. It's about finally, truly beginning to live. And if you've made it this far, thank you. You've already taken the first step. Seeking knowledge that challenges you, that's an act of courage. Now the only question is, will you simply carry this knowledge, or will you find the courage to live it? The choice is yours. It always has been.